When Cherry Blossoms Whisper. Volume 3, Autumn's Unspoken Truth. Chapter 6, The Broken Promise. The early morning light filtered through the blinds, casting soft beams of light across the room. Haruto sat at his desk, his mind still racing from the events of last night. Sakura's words echoed in his mind, "I don't know what to do anymore. I'm scared." The vulnerability in her eyes haunted him, and though they had shared a moment of connection, he knew that the road ahead wouldn't be as easy as it seemed. He couldn't stop thinking about her, how she looked in the quiet of the train station, her walls crumbling just enough for him to see the fear lurking behind her strong facade. She had made a promise to herself to handle everything alone, but now it seemed that promise was breaking, piece by piece. Haruto ran a hand through his hair, leaning back in his chair. How do you help someone who's afraid to let you in? Sakura, on the other hand, hadn't slept much either. She lay in her bed, staring at the ceiling, lost in her thoughts. The memory of last night played on a loop in her mind. Haruto's words had been like a lifeline, something she hadn't realized she needed until it was offered. You don't have to do this alone. But the lingering fear remained. Could she trust him? Could she trust herself to let go of the control she had so carefully maintained for so long? She squeezed her eyes shut, trying to push away the rising tide of emotions. Her mother's exhaustion, the pressure to be perfect, and the fear of disappointing everyone were too much to carry. Maybe it's better if I don't get too close. Maybe it's safer to keep my distance. The next day at school was strangely quiet, almost as if everyone was holding their breath. Haruto found himself avoiding Sakura, unsure of how to act after their late-night conversation. The unspoken words between them hung in the air, and he didn't know how to bridge the gap. Meanwhile, Sakura felt the weight of her decision to push Haruto away looming over her. She hadn't told him everything about studying abroad, she thought bitterly. The scholarship she had been secretly considering, the opportunity to leave Japan and escape from the pressures that suffocated her. It was her escape plan, her way of finding control again. But after last night, she wasn't sure anymore. Her heart ached at the thought of leaving Haruto behind, leaving everything behind. But staying, letting herself be vulnerable, meant facing everything she had avoided. Could she truly open herself up to him? Could she live up to the expectations of her family? Would it even matter in the end? Sakura found herself staring at her phone, her fingers hovering over the keys. She had drafted a message to Haruto several times, but each time she erased it. The words weren't right. There was too much she couldn't say. That afternoon, during lunch, Haruto sat alone at his usual spot, absent-mindedly poking at his food. He knew he should reach out to her, he should ask her if she was okay, if she wanted to talk. But something held him back. He wasn't sure if it was fear of pushing too hard or fear of hearing something he didn't want to hear. His thoughts were interrupted by a familiar voice. "Haruto." He looked up to see Sakura standing in front of him, her expression unreadable. "Hey," he greeted softly, trying to keep his voice steady. Sakura hesitated for a moment, then sat down across from him. There was an odd tension in the air, a distance between them that hadn't been there before. For a moment, neither of them spoke, both of them caught in their own thoughts. Finally, Sakura spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "I need to talk to you." Haruto raised an eyebrow, nodding. "Of course." Sakura took a deep breath as if gathering her thoughts. "I've been thinking a lot about last night and about everything I've been hiding." Haruto listened carefully, his eyes softening as he watched her. "I've been avoiding it for so long, and I thought if I just kept everything in, I could manage it. But it's been too much. I feel like I'm drowning, Haruto." Her voice broke slightly and she quickly looked away, fighting to keep her composure. "I've been thinking about leaving. About studying abroad. I don't know what to do anymore." Haruto felt his heart tighten. He could hear the desperation in her voice, the same fear and uncertainty he had seen in her eyes last night. But now he understood it better. "You don't have to do this alone, Sakura," he said quietly, his voice firm but gentle. "You don't have to leave. You don't have to run away." Sakura looked at him, her eyes filled with a mix of doubt and longing. "But what if staying hurts even more? What if I can't live up to everything I'm supposed to be?" Haruto reached across the table, his hand hovering just above hers. "You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be you. And I'll be here, whatever you decide." She looked down at his hand, her breath catching in her throat. She had always kept everyone at a distance, but now, with Haruto's words hanging in the air, it felt like something inside her was cracking open. It was scary, but for the first time in a long time, she felt like maybe it was okay to be vulnerable. "I don't know what to do," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Haruto squeezed her hand gently, a silent promise. "You don't have to figure it out alone." As they sat there in silence, an unspoken promise passed between them. Sakura knew that she still had a lot to work through, but for the first time she didn't feel quite as alone. Haruto had broken down some of the walls she had built around herself, and in doing so he had shown her that maybe, just maybe, it was okay to trust, to lean on someone else. And while she didn't have all the answers yet, Sakura knew that she couldn't push him away anymore. Not when he was offering her something so rare. His understanding, his patience, and his willingness to walk beside her, no matter where the path led. Thanks for watching our video. If you find this video interesting, then please subscribe our YouTube channel. If you're watching this video from TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram, then follow our page for more contents like this.